Okay, welcome to the deep dive. We've got a really interesting pile of recent intelligence from the crypto world for you.
Yeah, this is all stuff published around June 4th, 2025, pulled from your sources.
And our plan, as always, is kind of unpack all this. We'll dig through these articles, these notes, find the key takeaways, maybe some surprising bits.
Right, basically cut through the noise and get you up to speed quickly on what's actually been going on.
Exactly. And what's striking this time is, this real mix. You've got some really positive adoption news,
Big institutional moves, yeah.
but then that's bumping right up against some pretty serious technical challenges and market pressures, too.
It's a lot. We'll touch on specific coins, market rankings, those big investments you mentioned, new listings.
And even look at a potential kind of future threat that popped up in the sources.
It's moving fast. These sources really capture that complex picture.
Definitely. So let's dive right in.
Yeah.
First thing that caught my eye looking through this was a mention of SUI.
Yes, SUI. The sources flag that it's hitting a bit of a wall, technically speaking.
A wall.
Yeah, struggling below a key price level. What analysts call a resistance level, like a ceiling.
Okay, like where selling tends to pick up.
Exactly. And the report mentioned there's a growing risk that it gets rejected there, pushed back down.
So if it can't break through that ceiling,
Yeah.
potential downside.
That's the implication, yeah. If it doesn't find the momentum. Just a specific technical note, but shows current challenge for SUI.
Got it. Okay, so SUI facing some resistance. Now, let's zoom out a bit. Something pretty interesting happened with fee rankings, according to your sources.
Yeah, this one's fascinating. PancakeSwap.
The decentralized exchange.
That's the one. It made a huge leap in the weekly crypto fee rankings.
How big a lead?
All the way up to second place.
Second. Wow. Who did they pass to get there?
They actually overtook Circle.
Circle, as in USDC Circle.
Yep. Which is, pretty notable. A major stablecoin player. Seeing a DEX generate more in weekly fees than Circle.
That is telling. Says a lot about where the activity, the value exchange is happening right now.
Definitely speaks to the volume on these decentralized platforms.
And Tether, are they still number one?
Yes, Tether's still holding the top spot for fees.
Okay. Right. Let's shift gears a bit from market activity to maybe signals of confidence from bigger players. Your sources mentioned some significant investments and treasury moves. Adam Back, first off.
Yeah, this was interesting. Adam Back reportedly invested $2.1 million
Okay.
into a Swedish firm, H100 Group, but specifically into their Bitcoin treasury strategy.
So not just buying Bitcoin, but investing in a company using Bitcoin in its treasury.
Exactly. And the reaction was pretty immediate for H100 Group itself.
What happened?
Their share price apparently jumped 37% right after the announcement.
37%. Wow.
Yeah, it suggests the market, or at least part of it, sees putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet as a potentially strong move for a company like that, a real value driver.
That's a pretty strong signal, a 37% bump. And that wasn't the only corporate treasury news, was it?
No, there was another one, DigiAsia Corp, a fintech firm.
Right.
They announced a pretty big treasury plan, $100 million.
$100 million. And what are they putting into?
Both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So another clear sign of a company deciding to, actively increase its crypto holdings as part of its strategy.
So we're seeing these high-profile individuals, corporations making these moves. It kind of links into the news about BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The sources really highlighted the BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF, a BITIPET.
What do they say?
It was described as hitting a top 25 ETF ranking with phenomenal speed.
Phenomenal speed. That's strong language. What drove that?
Just rapid asset accumulation. Basically, money poured into it incredibly fast.
A huge demand.
Exactly. Huge demand finding its way into Bitcoin through these regulated, maybe more familiar investment products like ETFs. Pushed it way up the ranks, much faster than usual.
Paints a clear picture. That institutional appetite is definitely there.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the potential challenge down the road, there was also some altcoin news. A listing.
Yeah, an altcoin called Resolve, ticker Resolve. The report called it double good news.
Double good news. How so?
It got listed on Binance, which is big in itself.
Right.
But it was listed on both Binance Alpha, that's their main spot trading, and on Binance Futures, the derivative side.
Oh, okay. So spot and futures simultaneously.
Right, which opens it up to more traders, different strategies, potentially more liquidity. It's definitely a positive sign for a newer project like that.
Yeah, getting on both markets on Binance is a significant step.
Okay.
So, covered SUI's struggle, PancakeSwap's rise, the institutional confidence with treasuries, and IBIT, the resolve listing. Now let's pivot to that forward-looking concern you mentioned.
Right. This one's about the potential threat from quantum computing.
Quantum computing and crypto security.
Exactly. The sources specifically mentioned that financial analysts as of June 3rd were voicing serious concern.
Serious concern. Why now? What's the worry?
Well, their assessment, according to the sources, is that the crypto sector is, and this is the quote, far from ready
Far from ready for what?
to deal with it. To implement quantum-resistant cryptography needed to protect blockchains from future powerful quantum computers.
So the tech exists, or is developing, that could potentially break current crypto security.
That's the threat, yeah. And these analysts feel the industry just isn't prepared for that possibility yet. They mention a lead analyst, Rick Maida, specifically.
Okay. Far from ready feels significant, especially when you pair it with all this rapid adoption news. It's a fundamental technical risk, isn't it?
It really is. It's a major counterpoint. Suggests that even as money and institutions pour in, there might be these, foundational vulnerabilities lurking that haven't been fully tackled, at least according to these analysts.
Right. Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. From your sources today, we've seen, specific coin struggles like SUI.
Mm-hmm. The technical picture there.
Then market shifts, like PancakeSwap jumping up in fees.
Showing where the activity is.
Then clear signs of institutional adoption, Atom Back, DigiAsia, the crazy speed of IBIT's growth.
Real money, real strategy moves.
Plus, positive developments for smaller projects like the Resolve listing.
Yeah, signs of life across the board.
But then, this looming potential issue with quantum computing flagged with serious concern.
That future risk factor, yeah. Connecting all that definitely gives you a more nuanced picture than just looking at one piece.
It really does. So here's something to think about. Based on everything we've just unpacked from these sources, you have this massive influx, right? Institutional money, huge treasury plans, ETFs breaking records, seemingly unstoppable momentum and adoption.
All very bullish signs on the surface.
But at the same time, you have analysts raising red flags about a fundamental future technical threat, quantum computing, saying the industry is far from ready.
These two forces seem almost contradictory, moving in opposite directions.
Exactly. So the question for you to consider is, how do you weigh those things? How do you balance that surging adoption against a potentially serious, unaddressed technical vulnerability when thinking about the long-term picture for crypto? What part of this whole landscape we discussed today feels most important for your next step in understanding it all?
Definitely something to chew on after hearing all this.